What's going on, guys? Dan from SSG bringing you another Edison format deck profile. This time I'm profiling Norleras Dragons. And before we get into it, drop a sub, yo. You're here, you liking the deck profiles. Let's see some subscribes, yo. Drop that sub. And but yeah, here we are. 3 copies of Red MD. Red MD is just kind of insane. Card just like a format warping card in the sense that it's just one of the pillars of Edison format. Card's just very powerful, and the card being at 3 just makes all these dragon decks extremely broken. So yeah, 3 of the Red MD. Electing to run 3 Wyvern here. 3 Red as Wyvern. I think this card is like kind of overkill at 3 in some sense, but I think that in the like mirror matches against like the normal dragon decks like Disaster Dragon or something like that, or Trap Dragons, you kind of need to go a little bit longer, and I think that having the 3rd copy is really good in those situations. Also, you just want to have access to it. I kind of in between 2 and 3, but 3 is just kind of like the standard. I opted to go with that. We have 3 copies of Dark Grepher, of course. Grepher is just a very powerful card in Edison. One of the key starting pieces to a lot of different decks. And of course, the Dark Dragon, Norleras Dragon deck. This card is going to be really good on turn 1. Going to set up all of our plays and just kind of like get a bunch of darks in the graveyard to facilitate a whole bunch of nonsense. And yeah, this card just searches your combo pieces. It's an aggressive card. Just sets up really explosive plays. So we're going to run all 3 copies. We then have 3 copies of Dark Horus. Dark Horus, it's a dark. It is a dragon. It's a level 8, which is really important for trading. Card's just kind of everything we want it to be. It's really big and can come back off of Red MD, can kind of kill the opponent at 3,000 attack points. Very strong card, and yeah, very powerful. We're going to run all 3. Then we have my favorite card in the deck, 3 copies of the Dark Creator. This is just one of my favorite cards. Really strong card that just goes way over the top of a lot of the format strategies that exist, really. And we're just going to be able to turbo this card out a lot of times. It's not really our main win condition, but this card does a lot of work. And I think this allows you to go a little longer in matchups where you somehow like haven't really killed them through your combo or anything like that. This card is really good to copy with Phantom of Chaos, of course, very powerful. And yeah, I also just like this kind of like being like a not all-in card where you can kind of just drop this into play when you're in the middle game and like your opponent just has to deal with it. And yeah, it summons a bunch of big monsters out of the graveyard, and it lets you play like this different style of game other than like the all commit on like a fusion combo or something like that. Card's really good. It does a lot of different things in this deck, and I like all 3. Some people cutting it down to 2, but I think drawing it is really important. So all 3 Dark Creator. Then, of course, 2 copies of Norleras. I like 2 copies just to be a little bit more resilient to DD Crow. Having access to 2 is really good, and also you just kind of want to find it. Being able to set a lot of insane plays up with this card. Being able to, you know, like have just a bunch of dragons in grave, whether it be the Wyverns and the Red MDs, and then like you resolve this effect, Red MD comes back out of your graveyard for free. Just insane power level. Just one of the most busted things you can do in Edison format, and Norleras just kind of facilitates all that, and being able to just completely strip your opponent of resources and put you at a massive advantage is just something that is insane in any card game, and that's sort of why this dragon deck really exists with Norleras. It's very powerful and has a lot of big end game. So, and also early game, you can do this kind of nasty stuff really early in the game. So 2 Norleras. And then 3 copies of Phantom of Chaos. All 3 because like you can just have copy Norleras. Of course, you want to find it for the combo, but you can just copy like Dark Arm Dragon. You can copy Red MD from the graveyard. You can copy Dark Creator, which is really good. Having access to that effect of Dark Creator without having 5 darks in grave is really powerful. Card's really good. You just want to draw it because it's just, I think personally, I think it's actually one of the best normal summons in the format. I just think it doesn't fit into as many decks as it like can. I guess we should really try and find more places where this card fits, because I think the normal summon like JD, normal summon Demise, normal summon Dark Arm, like these effects are just insanely powerful and they require a little bit of setup. But Phantom of Chaos is just a normal summon that like doesn't get Bottomless Trap Hold. It doesn't get Deep Prison before its effect goes off. Like this card's just kind of insane. And yeah, that's why I'm running all 3 in this Dragon combo deck. Of course, we have Dark Arm. I've been mentioning him throughout the video. Card's insane. Really broken. Really easy to control the graveyard in this deck. And Dark Arm's just going to win us a bunch of games. I have one copy of Gores here. So there's this like underlying thing about the defense in this deck, because anytime I played against this deck or seen like players play against it, one way that this deck dies is by like the opponent trying to like be very aggressive and kill you on the before the turn that you completely go off and destroy them. And it's important to have these like defensive cards like Gores. I think one, and it, you know, you can say Gores is just like a very powerful card that goes in a lot of decks, but like I think it's really important for the survivability of this deck, and I'll sort of go into that in more detail as we keep going here. But we have one Plague Spreader Zombie, a lot of access to level 6 synchros with this card, with the normal summon of Greffer, but getting this card into graveyard, or just Wyvern being able to synchro that is really strong as well. And this just gives us good access. Also, of course, the insane combo is like get this card in the graveyard, stack something on top, and then go for like Phantom of Chaos, Norleras, resolve the whole effect, draw the card you stacked on top, which is usually something like a Dark Creator or a Dark Arm Dragon, and then the game is just completely over. Powerful card here. It just does a few different things, and yeah, it's a good card. Plague, of course. And Necrogarna, I like this quite a bit. I think, like I said, with the survivability, one way you lose in this deck is just your opponent's like, oh, I have to kill them. Let me throw all my cards at them, see if they can stop them. Necrogarna is just a good way to do that. Just having one attack that can stop, whether it be from like an absolute zero or some big monster that they're just trying to spam onto the field to try and combat what you got going on in the following turn. This card just keeps you alive, and in a combo deck, in any card game, really like every turn matters. Being able to actually assemble your combo and then enable it and kill the opponent is really important, and this card just facilitates that. It's searchable by sending it to the grave with Dark Greffer. If you draw it, you have ways to discard it. So yeah, really good. I like this card quite a bit as a one-of. Onto the spells. Probably my favorite part about this deck is the spell lineup. 3 copies of Upstart Goblin, just insane consistency. Of course, we're just going to play 3 Upstart in a combo deck. 3 copies of Trade-In. A lot of targets for this. It's going to be really good. Just very powerful at doing the draw thing. Just thinning out our deck and getting dragons in the graveyard, which is very good. Also can get rid of, Dark Creator, kind of like clogging up sometimes. Trade-In is going to be great for us. Of course, Future Fusion, the I win button of this format. This card is just extremely broken, extremely powerful. Straight up like a 1-card win a lot of the times, and this card is just gonna like do so much work. And we're gonna be able to just try and get to it as fast as possible here, and for that reason we're running 2 copies of Gold Sarcophagus. Most of the time we're going to be searching out our Future Fusion. If we already have Future Fusion, maybe we can search some sort of a back row interaction to protect it, but just really good here. And this is what I was sort of talking about. Like a lot of times when my opponent goes turn 1 Gold Sarc Future Fusion, now if I'm playing zombies or something like that, I'm going to just be super aggressive and try and kill them before Future Fusion comes into play, because that's really one of your only win conditions against a card like Future Fusion. So I think having that defensive setup really helps against a card like Gold Sarc, and like when they try against a strategy where they try to kill you when you're waiting for your Gold Sarc to get your Future Fusion. But Gold Sarc really good. Just get your combo online, and the most powerful thing is Future Fusion, so why not do it as consistently as possible. More consistency here, speaking of. Allure of Darkness, just so many darks in the deck, gonna be really good. Gonna find what we need, and find Future Fusion more often. Same with Card Destruction. Card Destruction is really good. I think people don't play this card in Edison enough, but in this deck it's very strong. Just being able to send Norleras to the graveyard, go and dig for a Phantom of Chaos, send some dragons to the grave, send a bunch of darks to grave, draw into a Dark Creator. Card's really good on turn 1, just searching out for Dark Greffer, getting a bunch of cards in graveyard, and just digging you a little bit closer to that Future Fusion is just very powerful. And there's a lot of ways to mitigate the downside. This is an inherent -1, but you know, if you discard like a Necrogarna, Plague Spreader Zombie, Red MD plus Wyvern, there's so many ways to get your card back that it really doesn't matter that much. So Card Destruction is very good. Foolish Burial, just good card. We're gonna send cards to grave that we want. We have Reinforcement with the Army, very good at searching our boy Greffer. And then we have some Spell and Trap removal for the last few cards on the main board. We have, of course, Heavy Storm, of course, Giant Tornado, and then also opting for Cold Wave. Just want to be able to get our combos off and just do the nasty things that this deck can do, and these cards just allow you to do that. So all 3 of these, the power heavy removal here. Onto the extra deck here, we have Catastor, Android, and then a bunch of 6s, since that's we're going to be making a lot. We have Bryonic here, Yugioh, Quasar, really good at just finding the last few points of burn damage. If that's what you need to do, they have a bunch of defense position monsters. You're going to want this to sort of just, get extra damage when going for an attack, going for a kill. You have Gaia Knight for more attack points. You have Iron Chain Dragon, really important card. Having access to a level 6 from like Greffer plus Plague Shooter Zombie. Having access to a dragon is really important. Being able to banish this card for Red MD, very good. We have Black Rose Dragon, and then some 8s here: Stardust, Colossal, Thought Ruler, Red Dragon, going to a 9, and Mistworm. And then, of course, we have 5-Headed Dragon for the Future Fusion and Chimera Tech to keep the machine decks honest. And then sideboard. I like this sideboard quite a bit. I worked on it off and on for a while. And I have 2 copies of Electric Virus. Card's just really strong. I want to just be a dedicated combo deck, and this card just does so much at like killing the opponents in the mirror match, and just really good. Just kills all these Gear Town decks just instantly. Like you take the 3K monster, and then you just summon a dragon or 2, and they're dead. Like same thing in the Dragon Mirror match. Take their Red MD. There's no way they survive that turn. Also, you could use it as a value play. If they do happen to survive, you can banish their Red MD and then summon yours. Really strong card. Just banish their dragons for yours. Go off, completely gain card advantage, and just completely kill them. So this card is just really high leverage in a combo deck, because that's sort of the point of our deck. And a lot of these setups try to like set a big monster up and then have like some back rows, and this card just sort of negates that advantage that they could have against your potential combos. Now, very important, 2 copies of Battle Fader. I like this just so much. I think this card, I'm really committed on the idea that opponents do just try to kill you before you enable your combo, because a lot of times you're waiting for Gold Sark, or you're looking for Future Fusion, digging for something, and this card just protects you a lot. It's very, very strong. I think your main losing condition is they kill you before you resolve your combo, because once you actually resolve them, the game is just straight up over. This card just keeps you alive, and taking a -1 to keep you alive for a turn is just insane in a combo deck. And I like this in the sideboard of decks that can actually kill you on those turns that they try to do it. Of course, like Gladiators is going to be a hard deck. Like they're not going to try and they're not going to be able to spit 5 monsters into play, But a deck like Zombies, a deck like Blackwings, you want to be able to protect yourself on those turns, those very vital turns as you're setting up your combo. And this card just does it for you. So 2 copies of Battle Fader here. 2 Lightning Vortex. The discard is essentially free most of the time in this deck. Just really good in the mirror. Really good at just getting rid of Blackwing boards. Just good card in general. We have 1 copy of MST for more removal. And then I have 2 Decrees, of course. Just all the heavy trap decks. I only want it in those matchups. You want your main deck to be as linear as possible. This card can kind of clog up a little bit, especially against decks like Frog Monarchs that play no traps. You just want these on the side for the matchups you want it. 2 copies of Deck Devi. Against the matchups you want it, this card's insane. Just straight up wins the game most times. And yeah, just very powerful. A lot of targets to tribute for it. 1 copy of Eradicator. Eradicator is just nuts. Really broken. Can just destroy a bunch of traps from opposing like Gladiator Beast players and things like that. So yeah, really good. 1 copy of Dust Tornado. More removal here. And then I'm electing to run 1 copy of Dark Illusion. This card is pretty sweet. Shout out to my boy down in the DR, who I met on the Discord, our SSG Discord. Go join it in the description below. He showed me about this tech. Card's really good. I think I like it in these style of decks where you can really enable a tempo push, like having 2 Dark Dragons in play, and then your opponent has to have the nuts to get out of the situation. Something like a Brain Control that this card stops. This card stops the targeting of a dark monster, and it just really stops the insane comeback plays decks could have, like enemy controller into a sack monarch. You can negate the enemy controller. You can negate a Kai's targeting one of your dark monsters. This card negates Brain Control. Card's really good. Just stops anything that would be targeting a dark monster. And yeah, just really powerful card. I like it as a one-of, just sort of kind of a get them card once you actually do have a setup. And the card's really good. We have, of course, wouldn't be an SSG deck profile without the 1 copy of Trap Dust Shoot. Honestly, this is probably one of the decks I wouldn't play Dust Shoot in, but come on. I mean, it's still Dust Shoot, right? And honestly, it is decent because we can just draw it with all of our draw spells. We have, Allure of Darkness, Triple Trade-In, triple upstart goblins. So yeah, we can run it. We'll go. We're gonna put this in going first and just like get them sometimes, draw them. Be an insanely better player than us, and yeah. So that is the deck, guys. Let me know what you guys thought about the deck in the comment section below. I think this deck is very powerful. I think it's just one of the better combo decks, like in old school Yu-Gi-Oh in general. I think this card just this deck is just really powerful and just does some really, really nasty stuff. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the deck. Let me know if there's anything you would change. I think the main deck is like pretty standardized and like not too much different from like what people got going on online, but I like it quite a bit. But let me know what you think about the sideboard too, because I do like the sideboard quite a bit, and I want to know if you have any input on the battle faders, anything like that. Other than that, drop a sub, drop a comment, and without further ado, this is Dan V from SSG signing out.